right? How to choose what should I do, right? Should I take GP to the cloud? Should I migrate to a new solution altogether? So it really comes down to, first thing you got to look at is functionality for your business needs. Case in point, we have a number of clients that are running GP payroll today, right? Well, if you need to run in-house payroll, does that solution offer it? Acumatica does offer Acumatica Payroll. Business Central does not offer it, but there are a number of ISVs. Again, Microsoft is getting out of the payroll space. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. Their bigger product, finance, which is the old Exapta product, they discontinued payroll for that. And we expect that, even though we have support listed with GP through 2028 and beyond, the real factor is obviously, are we going to continue to get payroll updates? So again, that being said, you need to know, does that product support what you need, right? What is important to your business, and does the product support it? These are all different platforms. You cannot assume that there are things that you can do in GP that you can do in other platforms. Perfect case in point would be, GP allows a different ship to location on every sales order line, different, all that information can be different by line item. Not a lot of other solutions out there support that type of functionality. So again, you really need to know what's the nuance, and you really have to do true due diligence if you're considering going to a new platform to make sure it's the right one for you. Again, there are ISVs out there, that may fill in the gaps of what that new solution might offer. What is the cost, and are they certified, right? You need to know and have referenceable clients or users that support that, and that you're getting everything you expect, and that there's not going to be some shortcomings. I had talked to a Business Central prospect last week, client that's been working with another partner for a while and trying to get live on Business Central, and 18 months in, the partner says, yeah, we can't do that. Well, this was a critical part of their business. It's a gap. And now they're reaching out because they're like, how can we address this? And unfortunately, it's a customization, because their old system just allowed them to do it, and they didn't think that any other system wouldn't. So you really need to know what are the key things that make your business different. We chose Acumatica and Business Central as our two cloud offerings. They're both true cloud, very different pricing models, very different functionality in some cases, where some are much better than others. So it really becomes a question of which one is the right one. Getting to the cloud, again, having the tools to extract the data from the existing ERP, in this case GP, right, is important, right? We can get that data out of GP over into the new solution without having to do a lot of lifting on the client side. So it's more of a productive effort to get you, should you decide you want to go to a new solution, right? How do you get there? It's different every solution, or is that other solution going to say, okay, fill out these Excel templates, which is very common. Fill out these Excel templates exactly the way you need it. Send it to us. We'll put it into the system, and then you tell me whether it's right. Again, it's not an ideal scenario. That's not how we would approach it, because it's got to be a collective effort to get it right. Other considerations moving to the cloud: reporting, right? Everybody has, with GP, the ability, you have access to SQL in most cases. You have add-on products, right? So many of our GP clients use Smart List Builder to build out any Smart List they might have. They might be creating SQL views, tying them to Smart List Builder. They can do direct Excel reporting, right? Querying the database. They got SSRS to build either Microsoft's or building their own custom SSRS reports. ISV add-ons, there's too many to count, right? In the reporting space, when it's financial reporting and everything else. And, so you just need to be cognizant of that, right? So how do you get the most out of GP? Well, a lot of people, it's the reporting piece that, gives them what they need, right? To analyze their business, report to the shareholders or whomever, to get that information, and one of the things that we're working with is, Cavallo has a new SalesPad reporting SKU, which basically takes the power of SalesPad's quick report and reporting functionality and can bring that to the existing GP base. So it basically gives you all this power You're not transactions, but you can definitely, instead of having, Smart List Builder, Excel, SSRS, and other solutions, in many cases, you can do one reporting SKU with SalesPad and definitely have that benefit of all the feature functionality that we can do within the SalesPad platform. So when you're moving to the cloud, what does that mean? Well, first off, can you access your data, right? Well, no, you're in Azure, you're in Amazon Web Services with Acumatica. You don't have access to SQL. And so what options do you have then to build out reporting, your queries, right? So ad hoc query tools, pushing your data from one solution to a data warehouse so that way you can then report on it. There's ISV add-ons for reporting, and of course, customizations. Again, customizations when it comes to cloud is definitely a big factor because you're on such a tight upgrade cycle. If you're on those every 2 major updates every year, and you're constantly, if you're building out your customizations, you're constantly having to be on a testing cycle. So you got to be aware of how that works. So how do we get this type of reporting when we're in the cloud? Well, in Acumatica's case, it's easy to create new fields in the platform, right? It's a newer platform that give you the ability to create new fields. And then it has something called generic inquiries. Generic inquiries basically are Smart List Builder, a combination of Smart List Builder and SQL views, right? So you can basically report on almost any data in the system, building it out into the reporting that you need. It has built-in pivot tables and searching, and so it's basically a lot better version of what Smart List Builder was at the time. You can also take these generic inquiries, you can expose them to OData, so therefore they're completely refreshable. Obviously, in the case of any cloud solution, you're going to have APIs. So if you've got more technical people, they can truly connect to the APIs on the back end and be able to report on that data through custom reporting that way. Again, you're just going to use a standard API, so you're not truly customizing the platforms. You're just pulling the data out to be able to then report on it. When it comes to printed reports, you need to be aware of, right? I know nobody loves GP's report designer. Been around forever, hasn't really evolved. Then Microsoft went to SSRS. Again, the pros and cons. Well, both solutions have a report designer in them. This Acumatica's report designer is a little more full featured in that you can pull in any table from anywhere, join them in, and basically build any report you want. So again, how do I build reporting? You build it within the solution. You can get the data out in the format you want without having to add any ISV products. If you needed ISV products to really, you want to make it easy to, build out, dashboards and financial statements and, really build out a book of reports for somebody, then you might look at an add-on product for Acumatica at that point. Again, you could do it. It just might be easier to do it a different way depending on what your needs are. So again, knowing what your needs are is important. Automations, typically when you're looking to move to the cloud and you're moving away from GP, really you want to be able to automate things, right? You don't want to have to hit post on everything. Again, neither one of these solutions, they're more real time. So you're not managing batches all the time and having to post batches and worrying about batches failing. It's a different world. And again, automation suites, Acumatica has them built in. I'll get to Business Central in a moment, but Acumatica, I equate them to where Great Plains was before Microsoft owned it, right? They did one thing. They were only in the business of making software, right? Acumatica, that is still their business. They're only in the business of making Acumatica better. So they're constantly investing in their solution, trying to future-proof it and make it better all the time. And that's where those features and functionality come in. On the Business Central side, you can add fields to almost any screen just through a personalization as long as the field already exists. You can't create new fields without a customization. I don't recommend that you use customizations if you're going to be creating a lot of fields, like our SalesPad users do. In that case, there's add-ons where from ISV products, they allow you to create those fields for the BC screens, extending the BC screens and data fields. And then you're able to then add those with that customization back to those screens, doing personalization to add those fields to the screen. So again, similar to for people that are using SalesPad to be able to do that screen configuration. Similarly, you can do the same thing in Business Central that way. As far as ad hoc reporting, Business Central does not have generic inquiries. So you'd be looking at adding on a solution like E1's PopDoc, which has a query builder for Business Central's data. And you're basically doing, simple query build outs and building that reporting. So it's going to pull the data out of Business Central and give you the reporting you need. If you need something more full featured than that with Business Central, there's a Cosmos. Cosmos is very nice solution that really is very powerful. It's the people that were with Jet Reports when they basically left when Jet Reports got acquired and went and created Cosmos, and now they've created a much better version of a reporting SKU that's for BC. And you can connect to different data sources as well, so other data sources, right? So one of the features of PopDoc is you literally could have a lot of different data sources, and you could view all that data and try and pull that data together in one essential reporting solution. So again, different ways to do things. When it comes to Microsoft's approach for automations and reporting and things like that, we're going to leverage the Microsoft 365 products, right? So Power BI, Power Automate, latest being Copilot, right? To be able to query your data within it and have Copilot go find you what you're looking for, right? That's going to be Microsoft's approach to getting you the information you're looking for. And again, Microsoft is heavily investing and improving on the product. They know that, GP users love Smart List Builder and the functionality they have there. And so Microsoft is working to add functionality around that. It's just not there yet. But again, the point here is ad hoc reporting when you're in the cloud, you have it pretty easy with GP and what you can do. When you're in the cloud, you have to know what your options are. You got to know, a lot of people think, okay, what functionality can I do? What features, what modules? Okay, well, at the end of the day, most of our clients with GP that have been on for years have built all these reports. You really got to identify what reports are important, and does the solution give you the ability to be able to run those reports?